Mm.
All right. Welcome everybody. How you guys all doing? How's your creative journeys? How's everybody's creative journey going? What have you done that's new before we get going? What's new? What's different this week or this month?
Well, I'm all set. I have my artwork was selected and it's on its way to North Carolina. I've gotten my prints made. I've gotten lots of other details made. So I'm excited to be there.
Good. Good, good, good. May you sell everything.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you, Marilyn. So,
Yeah.
I really don't want to have to ship it home again.
That's how I feel with my work. Honestly, that's how I feel. I'm like, please take it with you. I don't want to bring it back anymore. I feel like I'm gonna take some pieces worth this time around and sell it for like really cheap, just so I don't have to bring it back. Good, Marilyn, I'm proud of you.
so
I'm
proud
proud
of
of
you.
you for pushing through and getting through all the obstacles and making it happen.
Thank you so much. And I'm grateful for others in the art sphere who have helped me. Um, just Pamela has been just a blessing. Pam Fisher Vale. She's been a blessing to me. She kind of took me under her wing when I couldn't find answers and told me where to go and where to find it.
That's so good.
I'm
That's
glad for that as well, that the team, like we're all supporting each other. And it's beautiful because it's not just about me leading or Selena leading or whoever's leading. It's about us allowing each other to lift up collectively as an art collective and not just one or two people. So I'm glad. I'm really, really glad.
Grateful to her because once I submitted my stuff, I realized it had to be there the day before I arrived. So Pam is receiving all my shipment and going to bring it there. So,
oh wow, that's so good.
yeah.
I'm really glad. Who else? Who else? What's new? What's completely new this month?
Well, Danielle.
Come, Danielle.
Hi. This the same as Mary's meeting, or is this a different one?
This
This
is
is the
yours.
art.
That's different.
Mary's is the writers on Wednesday, first Wednesday, just happens to be the second. This is the arts and media, and then there's the writers group, which is the Wednesday.
I guess I had that one on my calendar wrong, so I'm doing both. Yay. I thought they were like conflicting.
Yeah, they
No, I
do.
think we.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Go,
Yeah.
Danielle.
Yeah, so I've been working on training for my competition and just trying to be more consistent with social media and like putting your stuff out there. And I've been, um, it's so funny how it's like, this really isn't that complicated. Like, make a video, talk about it a little bit, and put it out there. But just the whole like, well, how am I framing this? And all the different pieces that, in your head. So I've been more aware of how I just need to just get out of my head and start being more just making a video, me talking. And I think part of the whole process like that I'm going through is needing just getting all of the things that you need in order. And whenever you set out to do anything, like it's never all like your ducks are not all going to be in a row to start with anyway. But I have my first meeting with my coach on Wednesday, so I haven't been working with my coach yet. And that's where I've been really feeling like I know what I'm doing, but I need a coach. I need someone to just tell me, do this, you're doing great, work more on that, because we can't be our own for everything. So I'm looking forward to that, and yeah, trying to just keep doing it and put more stuff out there because I have more to share. And but I think it's difficult when you're trying to think about like the social media narrative that you want to share with the world because I mean I'm an open book kind of person. but you don't want to share everything.
Yes.
So exactly what to share and what not to share, and like coming out of the season that I'm coming out of, where I shared with you last time with my job, the owners closed the gym, and
Yes.
I found out later that they planned to do it. Well, the woman, I don't know, it's my husband and wife team, but anyway, she had planned to close our facility in May and didn't tell the manager that it was going to happen. So I've been lied to for months and like all this stuff. So it's like, I don't want to talk about that. But my whole world did kind of get turned upside down in the midst of this process. So I think it's helpful to share as you're processing through something, but exactly how much I want to share with the world, I'm not, you know. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that stuff.
That's good. I understand that. You're trying to navigate it and teach people how to navigate through it, but you don't want to be in a space where it's just bringing other people under the eye of what you're saying. I get it. I get it. Well, but I've been seeing some of your stuff. It's really good. Yeah, it's really good. I think the emotional stress around social media creation is what gets me, like the energy around it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, trying to work through that energy. I get it. Well done, well done. When's your competition?
November 21st.
Okay, okay.
So, yes.
So cool. Really excited.
Thank you.
I'm really excited. I know what that takes, so I know.
Yeah.
Plus two little kids, so that's
Yeah.
and a job change.
Yeah.
I think what I'm hearing you say and what I've been watching you do is find the to navigate the story, to tell the story, because we're storytellers, all of us as artists, as people, but the story, sitting in our seat of governance in media is really vital. So what's the through line? And I've been learning from Leilani, who's really quite masterful at this situation as a marketing person. And I'm about to go into another learning container that is utterly terrifying for me, but
What is it?
I'll tell you later. But the point is of learning how to tell our story and then sit in that seat of governance as opposed to, oh my God. And Tanya, for me this week, reframed something completely. Again, all about this. We're a very intentional group. We're not just like, I just really want to be an artist. Like it's always been on my heart. Like we're super intentional, but we're intentional people. And wherever we are on our artist journey, a community of high intention covered in the seat of Christ, like in Christ, as opposed to in religion, is kind of game changing, as we're all finding out. Like Marilyn, huge, this huge, huge win. So in the world of film or fashion and music, it's pretty cutthroat. But to have people who hold you accountable and with intention about your story, your facet of Christ that you bring into the world, and then navigating the social media in that seat of Christ, that's empowering, I think. So what Tanya reframed for me is I've been getting these waves of what I was calling exhaustion. And she said, what if it's the Holy Spirit calling you into sleep where your spirit man is on duty and everything else has to be like, what if you just take the nap and say, commend that time to like, here you go, Jesus, here's my spirit. What if we just took the social media container time as a seat of authority? And in that stillness, in a few breaths, what if we just intended into that, knowing that we're all holding each other up, doing something new? Because the newness of the kingdom, the way God would like to roll it out with mature believers, is here. So we're in line. Therefore, I'm, of course, giving myself a pep talk right now, but I'm also noticing and I'm watching your story as well, Danielle. It's very hard. And I know even like Amy just moved her whole life, and having community was really important for her to have like family and just having a shift of atmosphere as well. But then being accountable to that family, not just help me, help me, help me, help me. And it's like, no, you have to do the work, but and we're holding you accountable, but we're in it together. So it's safe when it's like, like I needed a reframe that Tanya gave me this morning, or even I'm alone all the time. So like even this morning before the call, I'm like, I have nobody can give me a hug. There's nowhere I can get a hug. I'm only giving. And so I was like, "Bleh," to Tanya, and she's like, it's good. It's good. She gave me a verbal hug and like, the call's already up. Jump on. So anyway, that's a long diatribe, but I really think I've not had this in the world.
Yes.
So I know the difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really proud of everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point, Selena, because you just actually said something now that made me think about maybe one of the things for me around social media is not necessarily the whole concept about having to post and having to create narrative, but for me, what I've noticed with artists, and you guys can tell me because we're all in different spheres, right? But if I don't have my art set up, like if I don't have my paints out and my canvas out and I've got a designated place for it, it's really difficult to come into your art practice. Like if you had to clear out your kitchen table every time you want to go and paint, you're not going to do that. And for me, you just like triggered something for me now. Because for me, having to film, recording myself while I'm painting, setting up the painting, setting up the camera, setting up this, that thing just puts me out of it already. I'm like, so I actually recognize now to make my social media thing easier for me, I needed to already set up like I would set up my painting. So if there's something there that we can, like even if you write the story, Daniela, like you're saying, if you have a designated place that this is my social media practice, really, because that's how we govern it, is we come to the seat of governance, we sit on it, and that becomes a practice that we can actually then move from. I'm gonna do that thing, see if that shifts it for me. Because it's not, here's the thing though, it is creative as well.
Yep.
It's all creativity. It's all the realm of what we're trying to govern. So for me, I know that that's an adversary.
Yep.
That's something that I'm having to overcome. It's an adversary in the realm that I need to govern.
Yep.
And I need to have authority over, and I need to sit because it is the storyline. And that's actually part of what I want to speak about. Not today, tomorrow on my other meeting, is that what is the storyline we want to bring from heaven? And it goes and flows not only through my paintings, not only through what I'm creating, but through social media, because think global, not local.
Can I offer something, Tanya?
Yeah.
Each person's social media engagement is going to feel different because we're called to
Yes.
different realms, and it's us practicing our voice. So
Exactly.
a while ago, I did like a launch exhibition. I called it a launch exhibition because I was like, I've got vision for a certain amount and I'm going to do that faithfully. But just like with Tohu or any kind of detox, if you cannot get past the social media thing if you're going to avoid it, because there's a level of wrestle you have to do, because wisdom speaks in the marketplace.
Yep.
And if we are showing up in the marketplace, then the hardest part is the birthing into social media. And you have to move through the labor of it and Tohu through it, because observe yourself in your realm. For example, I feel really called to speak about beauty. And so, of course, what happened for me around that time was a lot of things came up around that because of the content of what I was speaking. And so even just watching your thoughts and stuff, it would be easy to step away and avoid that because
Yep.
it's all the discomfort of display.
Yep.
It's all the discomfort of display. But I really see social media as an altar. And I see it both in the spirit and the natural. Obviously, you can't just be like, blah, 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 blah. I'm saying it in the spirit, so it doesn't really matter how it looks. Actually, it does. But it's like, it's an altar place but it's also, I don't know if any of you have ever seen like Star Wars, where they have that, where there's like the big council places or the assembly. Social media is the place of assembly. It's the public sphere. And so when you're speaking into it, you're going to have those adversaries come up for you personally. So it'll be different for you than someone else, what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's really good. And the avoiding part, just to go back to sorry, did I cut you off?
No, you're good.
The avoiding part usually points directly to what the Lord would like to meet you at, to birth
Exactly.
something.
Wow.
So just to embrace that.
Selena, you saying you're struggling with the whole wanting a hug thing. And like, it makes sense because you're coming out in your social media this week. We're working on that together. And so the very thing of like, it's pushing back of like, you're not supported, that's the voice in that realm that you're pushing back against with what you're doing. So.
Yeah.
Good.
And the connection of it. It's the feedback. It's the feedback loop. Like a hug is a feedback loop. So yeah, that makes total sense. Really good.
And a lot of artists need that emotional feedback. Because that's what a hug is. It's an emotional frequency feedback.
Yeah. And not just from I'm super snuggly, but only very specific people. And there's just been, Anyway, this is really good.
Can I say one more thing just about our time and season, like as the Artist Nation, is we're going to get crickets a little bit in this season, or we may get crickets. And I'm not trying to say that to speak that negatively over people, but like, remember, we're the front line and we're pioneering stuff. So we're actually speaking into a realm that's kind of bushwhacking at the moment. So our eyes can't only be on the natural metrics. We got to be observing like what heaven is saying in response to each of our faithful like speakings and engagements. That's just a piece I wanted to bring.
So have a first aid kit, Leilani. It's gonna hurt. The pearls are in the vulnerability, and to have an authentic thing to say.
Have an emotion.
Overcoming the fear. Oh, that's great. Just for the champions, I guess, huh?
No, I'm not saying we won't get feedback.
Oh, no, I'm just being sarcastic. I think it's truth, but I just think it's difficult at the same time.
Yeah, I think make sure that you're being witnessed. Like, this is why we need community, because we're bearing witness to one another as we come forward. And you actually need that because the earth realm might not witness you the same. But that's part of pioneering, is the earth realm might be like often not that this is a marker, but I know I'll always have, but at the moment I know there's sometimes silences are what I get because this just for me right now, it's because I know I spearhead in the communication space. And we're like spearheading. It's not, we're not just speaking things into the Christian space that already exists. We're speaking into a literal space that we're clearing in the spirit realm. So it makes sense to me that one, many of us are moving into social media and coaching right now. That's actually a pattern.
Yeah.
There's a lot going into coaching and a lot of us going into social media. So I'm saying like we're all on that front lines of pushing. So we all have the sound of many waters is being released into the marketplace. And so if you don't get many likes or whatever, don't let that phase you. Make sure you're being witnessed by this group here too, because we're bearing true witness. The earth realm won't always like that because they're like, wait, what? I don't want you to take up your seat of governance. Move back.
Yeah. And that's important what you're saying, Leilani, because this is what we said last time on the meeting. We have to recognize we're not only shifting this for artists, we're shifting creation. We're coming into the gate of bringing creation into the beauty of artistic expression. So as we are healing, creation comes back into the voice of expressive creative movement. So what Leilani is saying, it's not about the response of people, it's about the response of heaven in accordance to the voice that we're releasing and creating right now.
Exactly. So you make sure you remember that you're about your Father's business first before your own naturalness manifests, because Otherwise, you're going to get messed up in the ring. And Tanya's been saying the artist leads. What does that mean? We out the front, baby. Nobody gonna speak back to us. You know what I mean?
We have to be aware on that speak back, that loop. Kirby speaks a lot about it, about the feedback loop. It's important which one you choose, because you're going to get many. It's important that you take the feedback loop that's truth. That's what's important here. Because when I heard that the first time, I'm like, well, I do a lot of feedback. Like, I speak to myself. And then Spirit said, but is it the right kind of feedback? Right? And that's what's important in this time. So we're not looking externally what's been given back to us. We have to come back into what creation is responding, and heaven is responding to what we're saying. Virginia, you wanted to say something? You had your hand up.
It was actually back to the hugs, when you were talking about hugs, and I'm also interested to see that you'd posted about the redemptive gifts on the. I didn't know why that was. I don't think I've been tracking necessarily. I think I might have missed something, but it's just super interesting to me because we're doing this thing called. I have a group that's in Africa at the moment called Living Epistles, and it's something that the Lord downloaded to me like 2 years ago about the hero's journey, and using the redemptive gifts as the way to understand who you are as the hero in this journey. And one of the most important parts of it is understanding your tragic flaw. So, and ultimately as believers, we're overcoming the tragic flaw. And, every classic hero gets to a point, they're, fighting off obstacles and dealing with their own flaws, holding them back from getting the thing that they want. But then there's always this point where it's called the all is lost moment. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's where indeed it looks like all is lost. And then they dig very deep inside themselves, and there's a twist, and they're able to overcome that final huge hurdle. And so this is what we've been doing, is using the redemptive gifts to discover, well, who am I first and foremost as the hero in this journey. But listening to Dave Hodgson's teaching and everything that's coming out of WOW at the moment is so amazing, that it's just pointing to the fact that it's no longer for, Kirby was talking about his frustration with the passion recipes and everything, because it seemed to be very internal, i.e. selfish. But now it's just all about the church. And I just wanted to say the last thing is, this is all a bit of verbal vomit, sorry. It's the way I roll. But the last redemptive gift, the day 7, the mercy or the comforter, is usually, that's where you find most of the creatives. And they need physical touch. And that, I love the way you called it a feedback loop. That's so cool. But that's a lot of the people in the Living Epistles group. It was billed as, do you want to learn to write? And Mama Sylvia said, if you want to be a writer and you want to tell your story. But I was like, actually, no, it's not just about that. So we got a lot of comforters. But so I'd love to hear about why you reposted that.
Yeah, that's where we hit it.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So for today's discussion is exactly what Virginia's talking about. It's not about, oh, you need to heal something now. It's about understanding your makeup, right? And because all of us create out of this realm, in identity, in what we have to overcome, but also what we govern. So we're not only governing arts, we're governing that manifestation of the redemptive gift. So there's a distinction in the manifestation. Let me ask this question real quick. Who of you guys have some background on manifestation or the redemptive gifts? You've heard some of it. Okay.
WOW did something on it originally, and they called it the I Am gifts, right? So that
right.
might have heard of it as the I Am.
Yeah, so some of that. Who of you guys have never done any of the redemptive gifts? Like this is the first time you hear it.
Can you reframe it? Because I'm not sure if the verbiage you're using is what I would use. So I don't know if I'm a yes or no.
So right in the beginning, when Kirby and them just came into the United States, they did a whole series on the 7 I am personality gifts. So they called it the comforters, the servants, the reformers,
that little book that Lisa has, and they
Yeah.
taught it. Yeah, okay. Very, very, very familiar with that.
Okay.
Okay,
so-
I haven't done.
Okay, so we're gonna run through this real quick. So for those of you guys that haven't, the easiest way for me to, and the quickest way for me to explain this, because I don't want us to take all the time in the explanation of it. I want us to get down as to how does this affect us. So you have the redemptive gifts, and they are usually your personality gifting, how you were created, your DNA, your blueprint. And that's the gift that you get from the Father. Okay. Then you get the 5-fold ministry, and that's the gift for Christ unto the church. And then you get Holy Spirit, which people call Holy Spirit gifts, but it's actually Holy Spirit manifestations because it comes through us. If it's a gift only, it means that if you've heard people say this before, well, I can't really pray because I don't have the gift of healing. It's no such thing. You have the manifestation of the Spirit, therefore you can heal, right? It comes through us. So that's the quick way that we can explain redemptive gift. It's the identity gift from the Father. Now, why this is important for us, I'm going to use myself because that will be just the easiest way for you guys to understand. So my redemptive gift is reformer, prophet, the first one, right? So when you see the PDF that I sent you guys, you can go through the characteristic. There's a document I posted if you want to go through the characters of it to see where you fit in. But the prophet is created in like day 1. So what that means is that's the day of creation. That's when that's when Yahweh revealed himself unto creation. It's the part where he separated darkness from light. So as he separated darkness from light, he revealed himself. So prophets usually are seen as very black and white, very judgmental. And in my life, I used to see that as a problem because people used to say, you're very judgmental, you're so critical, right? So I ended up jumping into the mercy because of my trauma. So I would just constantly be giving opportunities and people walk over me and all those kind of things. So why is this important for us? Because as I create my art, that thing naturally starts manifesting through me. Light. If you guys will see my artwork, I'm all about light. I'm all about darkness. I understand the realm of darkness. But if you read in the PDF, it says on page 2, it says there, eventual root, spiritual authority over the poverty spirit of the soul. So if you guys understand a lot of the things that I do, I function a lot in that realm, getting the people out of that space. And up at the top, there is where is that one? Sorry, I just want to find it real quick. Okay, so if you see, like, for example, I function under Jehovah Jireh, the provider, understanding God's grace to restore and to release. All right. Now, one of the things that I really struggle with is the provision of God, trusting the provision of God. So now that I understand that that is part of my gifting, and if I understand that I have an adversary that's going to come up against that thing, that's how I know I'm seated in that position. That's where my authority comes in. So one of the things that the Lord's busy using me for is pioneering artists being paid in the value of what they deserve to be paid. That's one of the things that I'm pioneering. And I didn't recognize that is what I'm busy with, and it's directly linked to my redemptive gift. See what I'm saying? So if you, for example, if you're a giver in the realm of the spirit means God will use your art to make money for the kingdom. But if you don't know that you might have an adversary in how you give stuff out, or you have an adversary how your art needs to give back into the kingdom, you're not governing from that seat. If you're a mercy gift, and your mercy gifting is supposed to bring healing and restoration and bring people back into the kingdom of God, if you don't know that the mercy is supposed to be doing that, then you can't activate that as a voice or a language within your art. So your art is a language, it's a frequency, it's a vibration. So if you understand that what you bring to creation as part of your identity as a gift, you now learn, okay, but this is the thing I've been coming up against me all this time, and it's actually just the adversary that's coming against your identity. If you're a servant, do you know that one of the biggest things that servants carry is the rulership and the authority and the power over death? It's one of the only gifts that can carry that, because they won't take recognition for themselves. So how do you use that authority in your creation? Think about it. How do you serve through your art as that being your personality gift? So let's take it into the fivefold. So let's say, for example, you're an exhorter. I'm going to use my ex-husband here because he was really good at that. He was an exhorter, or he's an exhorter. So he's very much about people and bringing people to the vision. If you're an exhorter and you don't know that you have a visionary gift and bringing people to the vision, which is nothing like a prophet, I'm just going to share the vision to you and I'm going to leave you to get there. Right? If you're an exhorter, you're going to say, did you see, like, that's where the vision is? Can I help you to get to the vision? What do you need to get to the vision? Come on, I'll have the pom-poms going. I'll cheer you on. We're going to get to the vision. And I'm like, I'm here. Hello. I'm moving on to the next vision already. Right? If you don't know that as an artist, how are you pulling other artists to the vision right now? If you don't know that's your gift. Okay. So, PDF is in the chat group. I just posted it in the chat group. So part of this, guys, is, let's say, for example, he was an exhorter. Okay. So he would exhort people out of their issues and their problems into the next season. But his fivefold ministry, the fivefold, was teaching. So think about it. He exhorted in teaching, and he did it through worship. Right? So if you get that you are a cohesive being, taking all of your giftings, let's say you're a servant. Let me take a ruler. Let's say you're a ruler, which the rulers put structures in place. But the rulers function apostolic. So if you don't know how to be in your identity as a ruler, how are you building a structure for the arts? Building something apostolic, pioneering something. What's the adversary that's coming up against the ruler? Do we know that? Is there a quiz we can take to help you to? Okay, so one, There is like a little character thing that I posted. It's a Word document. It's in our chat, so you guys can read through that. You'll pick up really quickly. If you want, I can give you a quiz. I'll send the quiz. Virginia, if you have the quiz, you can post the quiz in there as well. It's really good if you want to do the quiz. I didn't want to put the quiz in there because I didn't want us to feel locked in, right? So we have to be careful. Like Selena and I spoke about this. So that's one of the reasons it's really good to say, this is who I am and this is how I function. Honestly, when I figured this out, right, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not crazy. Like, I'm not weird. Like, this is part of how the Lord created me. Like, I thought that I was just completely mad. Like, I didn't fit in. And then I realized, but that's part of my gift. So it's part of my identity. So when I'm saying this, let me put this caveat in there. We have all of them.
There you go.
We have all of the redemptive gifts because we're made in the identity of Christ, in the fullness of God. But we mainly function in one or two. That doesn't mean we can't jump in servanthood and we can't jump into mercy and we can't jump into ruler. But we function mainly in one or two of them. And if you understand that, not only do you understand yourself, but you're going to understand when you work with your customers. Because as a prophet, it's really easy for me to overshadow and rule a servant. I have to be careful because it can become dominant. So when we understand these giftings, you will also learn, how do I approach someone that's going to buy a painting and he or she is an exhorter? What's the language that needs to come from my mouth that could help that exhorter engage with the work of a prophet? How does that language engage a servant when they approach the work of a prophet? So it's important for us to understand these so that we know how to work with each other and with our customers.
And team.
and your team.
Yeah.
And yourself in different moments. But I'm watching your brains go really hard. It's really more about this is why we didn't want to do the test and send this out. You can't, it's about awareness. Like in scripture, it's basically based on Romans 12:4. But just know that, and know, like, it's important to learn this stuff because we have it available to us to dive into it, but then to also let it go.
Yes.
And then the Holy Spirit will bring it up in a moment. But if we hold too tightly and figure it out, that's just not how God works, especially with artists. If we get stuck in our prefrontal cortex or figure it out beta brain, we're in deep doo-doo. So there's no freedom.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's
and another thing is with this. I've looked at this since probably 2015. It changes. Your main ones will never change. However, the more mature you become as a son of God, the more others begin to manifest themselves in you and in your work. I was definitely, believe it or not, mercy was like low, and servanthood kind of low on my ladder. However, I have noticed through the last 10 years that as I have grown through hardship, just being challenged in my art, changes that have happened in my life. God uses these other giftings and starts bringing them to the surface more often than not. And the church has done us a disservice by saying, well, you need a formula. And I thank you guys for not putting that little quiz on here, because you need to discern and learn for yourself
No.
who you are
Yeah.
and your giftings.
Yeah.
And when you discover that with the Father by your side, oh my gosh, it's like, oh, yeah, I get it. And you'll see that in your art.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the exhorter coming out of me and the teacher. So those are my main two.
I just want to add to that, because remember I said that we can have all of them, but one of the ways that you guys can figure out what some of your redemptive gifts are is we usually have a primary and a secondary. We have the main one we function in, and we have a secondary one. Your main one is usually in your male energy. It's the authoritative one. It's the primary gift that forms your general design of who you are as an individual. It's your thinking process, and it will take shape according to that redemptive gift. The second one is usually your female redemptive gift. It's more defensive, it's more submissive, and the skill set that it comes with is your motivation. It shapes how you do it. So, for example, my secondary one is mercy. My first one is prophet. But when you hear how I bring prophet across, if you've been in my Tohu Bohu, there's a lot of mercy. Right? So if you understand how you are authoritative in your primary one, it's the one that you function in authority, in aggressiveness, in anger, in all those kind of things. It's how you bring it. It's your male energy. It's your force. But your secondary one is your female one. It's usually how you present it. It's how it comes through in that. So again, it's not about going, here's a quiz and let's just put you in that frame. It's saying, what have you gone through in your life? Part of my mercy gift is part of my traumas that I've gone through. I've developed the mercy gift out of my trauma. So what is that secondary thing where you can balance yourself? Because we're talking about opposing things. The prophet and the mercy are completely opposite polarity of each other, completely opposite, right? But you don't want to stay in the one, you want both. So if you understand how the two function, then you understand how you can, for example, my prophet is the male one, but my art might be the female part. It might be the softer side, or it could be flipped around.
Would it be helpful to think of these gifts as energies, Tanya, because it's dynamic rather than a static?
Absolutely, yes. That's a really good point. Yeah.
And go ahead. I was just going to address, as she had a question, how would you know the gift of your customer or someone else? It's that, what Leilani just said, feeling that energy come at you, being aware and discerning. So the whole point is the information is really vital.
Yes.
Why we have the word and all the science and all the words that are out there. That's really important. But to stay in that, you miss the energy. Learning, we are not made to learn linearly.
No.
Children, we don't do that. That's an imposed method of learning. So if somebody was coming, if you had a meeting and somebody's coming at you with a certain kind of energy, just pulling into the Holy Spirit and honing that discernment, God wants us to have it. So we just have to listen. We just have to pull in and practice it. And like Leilani had said earlier, it's a matter of doing the work. That means like listening and knowing the voice, our voice, like Tohu, what Tanya's doing right now, our voice versus God's voice, our voice versus discernment's voice in a moment. So all of these things play together to bring maturity, because as a child, we may know it because we're hearing so clearly from God, but then our own little traumas and our own big traumas, whatever, a life happens. And that's where we mature, by doing those things that feel a little bit harder to be able to actualize it as kings, as priests in the world.
And
But
it's
can also like if I just think about myself, I was so black and white when I was like younger, like really like that's how like everything goes and blah blah blah. But then after all the life experiences, all the traumas, then I can like clearly see the mercy because of the compassion, understanding because of what I went through myself. But like, so can it be like, I can see the both, in working, but if I'm thinking like, so I don't know if you can just like say like one is the main because it can change within the life. If I compare myself as a
it
younger, I
can
was
change.
definitely
Yes.
like the prophet and then maybe mercy when I was younger, I don't know. But now I can see like different, but yeah.
I mean, the seven spirits of God have different energies, so why wouldn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's multifaceted. And if we learn how to function through those facets within our lives, but also then receiving that. Because, for example, I'm not going to put a servant and tell them to go and build a business. You're going to break that person. You want to know that they're there to serve the vision. They were created to serve the vision. So, for example, there's only two servant gifts or visionary gifts here. The exhorter and the prophet in identity, they usually see the vision. All the others are supportive gifts. They're there to build it. But if we don't know that, if I don't know that I might be a supportive gift and not a visionary gift, then you don't have to pioneer anything. You come behind Selena and myself and Leilani and whoever's pioneering. You say, you guys break the wave for me. I'm just going to swim back here. You do all the hard work. I'm just going to ride the wave, right? But if you don't know that and you're trying to pioneer something, I'm not saying you can't, please. That's not what I'm saying.
But can it be also like, if I think about myself, I've always been in the few in the front lines. If I like whatever, if I look at the time, like whenever I've been, like since I was young. So I think that tells something, even if it was a good or bad thing. But like,
yeah,
if you always kind of like being in like the few,
but it's about
somewhere where people are not,
It's about what you're pioneering as well, because like I've really had to wrestle with this with my husband because of stupid gender things of like, oh, my husband's he doesn't have that visionary lead prophetic thing. And it's been a real like struggle to figure out, well, who's actually pioneering and that's redemptive gifts. He's wanting to build the thing out. And I've been like, but that's what the woman does. She follows. It's just stupid. It's stupid, but it was like my learning.
And it's the systems that we've been given. Society has given us those systems, right? So it's about learning that we have to. The Lord said to me about 3 years ago that I actually think it was the first financial flow. They were talking about all of these things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but we're in this art sphere and people see art this way and blah, blah, blah. And the Lord said, you are the system. So all of us learning these things is reframing the system of creation the way God intended it to be. So knowing if you're like, for me, sometimes I would love just to be in a role where I say, hey, you pioneer it and I can just be back here. But I'm not created like that. I'm going to be frustrated like that. So learning how is your art in your identity, in your personality, how does that affect your voice right now in your creations as you bring it to social media and governing that mountain? That's what's important. If you don't know your story, this is part of the story. If you don't know that, like for Leilani, that thing that she's saying right now about having to break that system, that could be a vital story that she could share right now that could break a system around submission. Right? Because that's not what submission means. So in this space, The question here is, if we started this conversation around the story that we want to say and tell right now, part of that story that you're telling people comes through your expression and identity. And redemptive gift is part of the identity. I just had this conversation with a friend. She's like, I really feel like I can understand my identity in Christ, but there's like, I'm at the brink of breaking over into this breakthrough of becoming it, like living it. And it's the expression of it. It's the expression of coming into your identity. So what does your expression of Christ as an artist look like? That makes us individual, and that's the thing that can never be taken away from you. And that's what we're looking for, because it's the authenticity of our voices that's going to shift the artist right now.
And some of that authenticity, like Sue was saying, comes from your own intimate relationship with the Lord that reveals the framework in which he made you. So like Tanya and I are both prophets and mercy. That's the strongest, but it's just what it is. So it just comes from our own discovery rather than taking a test.
Yes.
And you become authentic because you know that you know that you know, as opposed to, I think, kind of, or trauma informed. I'd like to be, like a judgment on yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Tanya, did this come from Arthur Burke?
This one that I'm posting in there is from Arthur. Yeah.
Arthur Burke, pioneered this, and then once finished, he let it go for others to take up and utilize however they would. So, okay, I'm going to encourage everybody on this call just to go back and look at this. It doesn't give full explanation, and sometimes Arthur's full explanation can get a little confusing, but that's okay. He was still a really good teacher.
Really
But
good.
you'll notice on the graft here, or the form, there are also negatives to the gifts. If you are not, I won't say performing, if you're not living out your gifting in its fullest form, how God made it to be, there'll be a pull from the adversary to get you away from that, because we all have these weaknesses that we have. And I had to laugh, because I'm going, oh yeah, I see that in myself, when I look at a couple of these things. I get pulled away from certain things because I'm so interested in so many things. And I just have to then, once I'm aware of that, and I just kind of have to sit there with the Father and say, I recognize this. I don't want to have to do this. I want to do this, what I should be doing. It's discipline. A lot of it too is discipline. So take time to just kind of go through this and pray over it. Lay it before the Lord. Lay it in your altar, and ask the Father to show you. Ask Holy Spirit, who's your counsel and guide, to just really work in your heart and to highlight those things that need to be highlighted. Because as an artist, if you don't know who you are, your art is kind of floaty. It's ambiguous.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be ambiguous.
Shitty.
You want
Yeah.
You're so funny. But you want to be intentional, and intention is probably one of the number one things in art. What is your intent? What is our intent?
Yeah.
What's the intent of our heart? And then going back to the relationship, what's God's intention in as we partner with him in our art, no matter what it is, whether it's writing, painting, singing, what theater, dance, it doesn't matter. There's always intention there, and that intention forces frequency out from us in our light, and which attracts then others to who we are and to what our art we're doing. So anyway, I have to go. I have a meditation class.
That's really
Dang it, I love this.
I just want to say with that, guys, this is not to pull you guys down and go, oh my gosh, do I still have to work through something? I'm hoping that with me posting this, that you go, oh, aha, I get something about myself. Like, I just want it to be some aha moments as to what it is that you feel like sometimes you're facing. Like, if you're a procrastinator, why? Like, if there's something in, bye Sue, if there's something in that's causing you as an adversary that you can't overcome that piece. I just want this to be aha moments for us and go, oh yeah, I can totally see that in myself, and then pursue that even more with intention because you got it. And so that's why I wanted to release this to us so that we can say, okay, yes, I can see this totally in myself. I can see me fighting this all the time. I can see trying to bring justice in here or do that or whatever that might be. Okay. So please don't let this pull you down. Please don't let it put you in a box and just frame you up in that way and say you can only function in this. Allow yourself to move and learn from this. It's part of our DNA. It's part of your blueprint. It's part of how you were designed. And if you understand part of it, you can actually move the scroll. If you feel like there's areas that you were stuck in, you can move the scroll. So that was really hard for me when I came to the United States and discovering that I've got all this beautiful talent and it just stands still, right? It's not moving. Then to start discovering that I'm actually pioneering something for artists, that it's not just about me creating art. And then when people walk up to you and when I now carry it in my heart and I know this is what I'm doing, it's part of my blueprint and I'm discovering it, then you find people walk up to you, creation responding. Creation can only respond what you give creation, right? So now that I've learned that, have people walk up to me and saying, I see that you want to break through about this area and artist, and you go, yeah, here, I just want to seed into that.
Wow.
Creation responding because I've come into alignment with what the blueprint is. So I'm hoping that this will do that for you guys, that you discover something where you go, this is me. I get what I'm pioneering. This is my blueprint. Let's go for it.
And if it doesn't, just let it go.
If it doesn't, get into the void and disentangle from it.
Let it go.
Let it go and re-engage it afresh and anew, because that's the other part of it. Let go of things that we've entangled with that we're not supposed to be entangled with. Yeah.
Tanya, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Okay, so identity awareness and expression, right? So when you're pioneering something and then you're realizing that you have so much from within and you need people around you to be able to extract. Because Leilani and I, a few months ago, I wrote a prose. Leilani, you'll probably remember. And it was a more or less sting, and it was rejection. And it needed to come out, and it came out. And she took it, she examined it, she broke it down into many different things. And she said to me, you don't realize the fullness of the revelation that you have within your creativity. I busted this up for you to break it up to create containers of expression. And I'm saying that to say that pioneering and having support and having those around you to help support you to be able to bring out the fullness of that expression is like so key. So my question for you is, how much tension did you feel until you recognized that you couldn't do it all, that you needed support.
I'm about to cry right now. How many artists feel exactly that?
But that's the beauty, again, of this community, because like
Yes.
I was really stuck in this last year. I was really stuck. And then was it September or August? I said, Tanya, she's like, what is your redemptive gift? And I'm like, I don't know. So we met and she was just like, and I was like, oh. And I am a big Arthur Burke fan many years ago, but I was like, didn't really compute back then. And I've changed. So
you couldn't grasp it. So answering your question, Ron, many of us as artists need to break the system of lone wolves. I'm on an island by myself.
Lol.
I'm the one that's creating by myself.
Do the word, Ron. Do the word.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
And then I'm assuming, Tanya, I know you need to finish too. So if anything is a kryptonite, it would be rejection, right?
Rejection, yes, is a big one. And second one is, I'm just going to say how we always say it. If I don't do it, it's not going to happen. Because most of us are creators. So we create all the time. And if no one comes in and picks up that role, we end up taking up that role. Right? So I'm going to use myself because you're asking something now that I'm only starting to break through now a little bit in my life after so many years of pioneering art, right? I'm only now getting people that are starting to come alongside my vision and saying, hey, I really recognize something. I want to be a part of it.
I would say rejection is the governing principality in the arts realm as well, because of this very reason.
That and comparison.
Yep. Keep them apart. What it wants us to do.
Yep. Comparison. Yeah.
So just Jazz had her hand up, and then Jamie had some things to share too. So just wanted to put it to your attention.
Okay. So the only thing that I can say to that is, one, be faithful to what you're creating. And then I just had to pray and say to the Lord, I need help. Here's the thing, Kirby says, right? This was really good at the first financial flow. Kirby said, whatever it is that you are making, whether it's a job or if it's your business or if it's your creations, it's asking the Lord how that thing serves the kingdom, right? So for a long time, many artists, they create for themselves. Think about it. I create because I enjoy it, or I love it, or I'm creating my voice, or I'm making statements. No, you're creating for the kingdom. It might be your voice, but it's for the kingdom. And once I made that shift, I literally took my art and my business and I sat in tohu wabohu and I unraveled it. I disentangled from all of those things. And then I said, Lord, okay, what do you want to use my art for? I know I had a vision, but I let go of my vision. And I said, what do you want to do with my art? And when the Lord showed me the pioneering thing and that it's for the kingdom and how it becomes part of the kingdom, the whole thing shifted. That's when I got rid of the two companies. That's how I created the one company. That's how the whole vision stopped or changed, kingdom changed. And that's when people came alongside me.
So it went from micro to micro to macro, more corporate expression. You just didn't realize it right away.
I didn't. And here's the thing though, 6 years ago, the Lord said to me, think global, not local. Right? And that thing stuck with me over and over and over again. And I kept saying to the Lord, what does that mean? If you want me to go global, then you need to give me the people and the structure in order for me to be global, because I can't handle it. I'm not supposed to handle the accounting. I'm not supposed to handle the just doing the multimedia videoing, social media stuff. I'm not supposed to handle the 501c3 that I want to set up for a ministry. It's not in my capacity. In the past, it was me and me alone. If I want to set up a 501c3, I had to do the research. I had to supply the finances. I had to fill in the form. And I said to the Lord, no, it's not, I didn't study to do that, Lord. Give me the people to do that. My brain doesn't want to go there. So now stepping out of the way, the lone wolf, stepping out of the island and calling the people forth and allowing the Lord to bring in. It's been a process. It's been a major, major process, right? So
Thank you. Very
all I
good.
would say is stay faithful to what He's called you to and shift and be fluid. Change it up if you need to change it up. Stay fluid until it breaks and breaks and breaks and breaks and breaks until you see it come into fruition into your realm. But a lot of it is here, guys. What if we don't change this, how we perceive it, how we see it, how we approach it, creation can only respond to the sons. In other words, how is the Son seeing it? How is the Son calling it? How is the Son creating it? How is the Son voicing it? It's here. Manifestation takes place within, and reality changes. We're not allowing reality to change in here.
Then Tanya, did it bring healing in the body then too when you came into more fullness of it? Like more health, wellness, rest, something? Because I mean the resistance within the body, if the body is resisting and not knowing why, right? Would it not, when you let go, have a give back?
Yes, because I'm getting fat. I'm actually eating food where previously I was bulimic and anorexic.
Wow.
I actually thought of that the other day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually like really eating and I'm picking up weight. And I'm like, okay, something needs to change here. I don't like this aspect of it. But yes, because I don't feel the need to actually, because you're carrying so much energy of yourself, it becomes like purging. Now I can hold only my energy. It's only mine energy. I'm not holding anybody else's energy. I'm giving it to them to hold. Right?
So you have more to give then too. You have more to give.
Yeah. Way more to give.
Yeah. Wow.
So if you see me, don't tell me I'm fat. I'm getting there.
What if we have a prophetic redemptive gift though? Do we need to learn mercy?
Say that again.
I said, what if our gift's the prophet? Do we just need to learn mercy in that moment?
Yes, please.
Mercy, mercy, mercy. Oh, so funny.
So funny. Who else who had questions?
Jazz had her hand up.
Go for it, Jazz.
She might have already gotten what she needed, but still we want to hear your voice.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. No, this is just blowing my mind, and it's everything I've been wanting to hear for a really long time. So I'm just so happy to be here, listening to the conversations, and really resonating with what everyone here is saying. So I really look forward to seeing what Yahweh has in store. So thank you so much for letting me in, and I'm just really, really happy to be here.
Welcome, welcome. It's awesome having you. Yay.
Yes.
I can really see where, like in my past, I was a teacher. And I mean, I've let it all go. It's kind of like don't know whether that was a teaching gift in me or if it was just because that was the job force I walked into as a speech therapist, resource room manager, that kind of stuff. And so now that's all gone. I guess I really need to do some search because I don't know where I fit.
But that I can totally see that, Marilyn, teaching in what you're going to do in your art, because teaching is not necessarily just that we teach, but it's how we learn. When you learn things, like you have a lot of questions, right? You learn in a teaching, and then you take all of the information that you have, and then you sit with it first before you would make a decision. And that's usually what teachers do. They accumulate all of the things and they say, I'm not going to make a decision right now. Give me this, give me this, give me this, give me this. And then they sit with it, they read through it, they absorb it, it becomes part of them, and then they act upon it. And that's actually how you function. So I would say how that will translate eventually is you're going to find other artists that went through exactly the same process that you've just gone through. Like, and you're going to bring other people into that same realm. You're going to teach them how you struggled and how you tried to figure it out. And then you had people come alongside you. And then this is now where you're at. So I can totally see your language. And also, the way you paint, you always have letters with it, the Hebrew letters. So there's a teaching moment that comes in through the Hebraic wording. It's words.
Well, is it the prophet then jumping first and then, learning on the way? Or who is like, jumping first and then, pew.
Prophets are usually in the realm of the visionary. We see the vision and then we jump body, soul, and spirit into the future. And then we go, okay, now we have to work our way backwards. So with prophets, you have to pull your spirit back into the now. Otherwise, you keep living in the future and you never manifest anything. So prophets have to pull them away. That's why it seems like we're learning as we go along. But it's not really that we're learning as we go along. It's that we see the big picture and the vision, but we have to pull ourselves back. Otherwise, we live there and not here. So that's why it seems like we're learning as we go along.
But if you don't have a vision, you just jump.
Well, it's also, that's really important. I mean, it's kind of like I'm already a mover, but it's also part of my redemptive gift, my strong thing. I have to stay in my body or I'm definitely going to be living in the mountains with the ancients and never come back.
Yeah, it's hard to be
the encounter stuff is fun, but what I mean,
it's high frustration to the point where you don't want to fight it. You don't want to do anything. When it's so far ahead, you can see it all, feel it all, know it all. But it's like, hey, come now, not tomorrow, next year. The reality of it, I get it.
Yeah.
I wanted to say, Marilyn, as well, that in the time that I've known you, the maturity that the moving away from fear and not seeing yourself the way God sees you, where you've come is massive. So I see you as a voice. I've always seen you as a voice. Some of it. So Jamie brought something up on the chat. Sometimes it's like you're screaming on the inside, I know this from the Lord. I'm trying to bring it to you people and you can't hear me. It's God's timing. And so all the adversity of your life, I love how Dave Hodgins says it, are threads that create this tapestry or this rope that can't be broken.
Yes.
So as you emerge, God doesn't look at age and he doesn't look on the inside, but he will reserve, like Sarah and Abraham, something for such a time, or Esther, for such a time that the world really needs to needs your tapestry and all the adversity and working through the fear and the discomfort of for anybody over 60 feeling like
really
really? So in that sense, that is such a powerful voice because there is God is all about intergenerational, intercultural. We're all one. So you're being solid as you are and growing every day and bringing the art that you bring with the all that comes with that in the cloud of witnesses. This is really powerful, Marilyn. So you're humble enough to be able, because you've been through so much and you've fought that good fight, and there's surely more to come. You just have well-honed weapons now. It's really important to see how vital that voice is. Just you standing in the room
Yeah.
Is a big deal. So, and that matters for everybody, no matter what your age. But when you've lived through some shit, that's honorable. So,
Yeah. And just Marilyn, if I had to just think about you and your personality and how you come across, you have a servant mercy that comes across. So if you think about servant mercy, teaching could be in your fivefold. It could be the fivefold. It's how you present it, right? So the fivefold could be in your teaching, but you serve your personality comes into mercy, servanthood. It's coming down there, bringing it into teaching. So if you observe how you create your art is also from that realm of serving people. It's bringing them into their identity. It's finding how you find your identity through how you engage the lion and engage the Hebraic. So you engage it like that, coming into your own identity, you paint it, and then with that intention, as people approach your artwork, it activates something within them and they come into the same. It's a serving of the voice. So the teaching comes through that.
Okay. I resonate with what you've just said. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Go, Virginia.
Hey, yeah, just to slightly bring it back to the hero's journey, as Joseph Campbell coined it. I'm trying to lower my hand. There it is. And the tragic flaw. You spoke about fear, and I do think it's really important to have a handle on that from above, because the tragic flaw is always a fear of something. Even if it manifests as a physical disability, it's still rooted in a fear of something, be it rejection, that we understand particularly, or whatever it might be. And I think with your consummate wisdom, Marilyn, and all of our, experiences that we've had, and it really keys in with what Kirby and Fiona are teaching about deliverance and conscience and all of that at the moment, that it is when you can view it from above, you automatically start walking in that authority, that and others start to come in line. And I think there are specific, I know that fear is open to all of us all the time, but there are really specific fears that are, attributed is not the right word, connected to your gift. So understanding that is really, really important. I see you, Marilyn. I don't know you at all, but I really see you being able to actually speak to those fears in other people as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Very good. I just gotta quickly say, I had got the sheets floating when Tanya was talking to you, because it took a while for me to try to find that emoji when Selena was mentioning about
when I was swearing
sheet stuff. And then I was trying to find those emojis, and then it just clicked, in the wrong time. Sorry. It wasn't for you, Mary. I had to say it because when it came out, I was like, oops, that was a wrong timing.
Oh, that. Okay, so good. Love it. Anybody else want to share? Okay. Let's go through that PDF, read through it, see what you can engage with, see how it responds to you, be in discernment, and let's throw it open in the chat and see what conversation comes from it and what you've learned about yourself, what you've learned about how you create in that sphere. And let's open it up. Let's open this realm up so we can bring all of the fullness back into ourselves. Ooh, I felt that. Ooh. So, so let's see, because this is really, really important for us to actually engage in. So we can come in the fullness of our identity, come in the fullness of your blueprint. You have a voice, and creation needs to hear it. Let's bring creation back into its healing state as creatives, right?
Amen.
Yeah. So good.
Tanya, I have one last question. What about breaking out of your confinement of what you're very familiar or your talent or your skill set to do something different? How do you know when you're meant to break the confinement of where you've been creating? What does that tension feel like to kind of give you, or to, show itself, to heat it?
You'll feel the opposite of it. So once you get into that, you'll definitely feel like this doesn't feel like you. My suggestion would be take all of this into tohu. Take all of it into the void. Like clean it up, disentangle from it. The thing is with the void is that as much as what we're disentangling from it, if you know, and most of you guys have gone through this already, if you've disentangled from it in the void, you choose how you want to entangle. It's a choice. So when you come into that state and you can discern and say, this does not fully feel like me, this does not fully resonate with my being, take it into the void, disentangle emotionally from it, get out of that DNA structure, sit with it in the realm of the spirit and say, God, what is the truth here? What do I need to come in here? What do I need to shift right here? And as you shift from that place, you choose and you reincarnate your body back into spirit, choosing all of that newness, and then you see how it walks itself out.
Can I offer one thing to be aware of as well as that, Tanya?
Yeah.
Because I thought about it at the start when you were talking about, shows you what your client needs and stuff like that. And I said, and team. I think based on your last question too, Ron, in terms of like the solo thing, I would say, who is God placing around you as a pattern, as a mirror? And look what is in those people. Because like for me in the last few years, it's that of like, oh, these people are like opposite. And it took a while to realize the Lord was placing a different kind of gift in front of me to show me what I needed to integrate and balance out in.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we're each other's mirrors right in here. So absolutely. And the other thing is ask. Like some of us know you well and say, can you see this in me? Friends will really tell you really quickly, no, that's not you.
We'll give you on Google reviews, bro.
Yeah, ask your friends, ask those around you. They'll be truthful.
Indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Bring your own first aid kit, hey?
Ask the mercy ones. Also.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a pathetic one.
Yeah,
Okay.
so good. You all good?
Yep.
Thank you guys for being brave and stepping into this realm. It's going to be awesome. Awesome sauce. Great. Okay. Love you, beeps. See you guys next month. Have a great creative month. Go and create.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Love you guys.
Bless you guys.
Create.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you. Thank you, Jess. Nice to see
Thank
you.
you, Marilyn. Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.